And I'd like to welcome to the stage Alejandro Fernandez Aldrete, who is the Commerce Account Executive for Emerging Markets and EMEA at Salesforce. And then we also have Stuart Dunsmuir, who is a Senior Account Executive at Salesforce. Gentlemen, welcome to the virtual platform. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nastasia. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you, everybody, for welcoming me. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So hopefully now this is loading, and hopefully you can see my screen. So we are now here to talk a little bit more about, how those transformations are actually happening in companies and how we can help, Salesforce with transforming your B2C commerce experience, from an end-to-end customer experience. So obviously, this is a forward-looking statement. This is a statement for lawyers only, right? So obviously, it's all of the decisions that you make regarding, our products need to be based on the features and functions that our products have today. And nothing that I'm going to present is going to be roadmap related, so we're fine. And first of all, what I wanted to do is to thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak today, and thank you for your time. Hopefully, I know that we're all busy and we are living in unprecedented times, so we feel closer to you all. And let's see if we can actually have a little bit of fun along the way. I'm have a presentation where I combine a little bit of slides as well as a demonstration. So hopefully you like the presentation and this takes you away from your regular business. So effectively what we are going to be covering today is we've done already the agenda. We're going the agenda and the intros. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover how do we effectively impact, our B2C experience for our consumers, and where is that digital transformation actually coming from, and after that I'm going to provide an end-to-end customer journey experience where you're going to see a demonstration how a customer is actually guided through the entire process, okay, from the website to marketing to order management and service, and how we can close the entire loop. So obviously, we live in unprecedented times, as I was mentioning before, and it's true that the global pandemic has actually changed the behaviors of customers, right? So it's true that we were actually used to engage with companies, and we were used to actually go to cinemas and go to shops and do most of that stuff in a real life world. But now everything due to the pandemic has been shifted towards online. And it's true that obviously this has put a little bit of a constraint, on the companies as such, forcing them to obviously go through that digital transformation. So we are now living into a world in which, actually this pandemic has shifted the behavior from the existing customers. And actually we are now blending online and offline experience. So it's not anymore about, a customer that would want to go to a specific store online. Is that everything is actually blurred into an entire experience as such, where we are merging both of the experiences. And actually, as I was mentioning before, this has put a lot of pressure, into the companies. If we are thinking about, so how this has actually put that strain is the companies were actually mandated to actually change fast. And it's always the case, right? So the customer experience goes quicker, and obviously our companies, the companies need to actually go ahead and continue to grow in order to meet those expectations as such. So as you can see in here, those sort of demands from a digital imperative in which the consumers were actually to driving that digitalization of customers. We're actually seeing how customers were actually changing themselves, from changing their B2B operations, from changing, adapting or getting closer to the consumers as they were actually doing everything online, making sure they could provide the same experiences, as you could provide, offline in a brick and mortar store, but you could also do the same thing, online as such. And this is something that we've actually seen across all of our customers. So when we think about how do we actually leverage that or increase, that digital transformation, we're thinking about, 5 key pillars in here. So first of all, the first thing that we need to do is we need to actually drive agility within that data and analytics. So we are actually we need to, it's not data for the sake of data. So we need to drive wisdom across all of the data that we are capturing. Then the next thing is actually we're transforming the business, relationships as such, in which, actually, myself, I'm based in London and I'm remotely working, and from one day to the other, everything transformed into a completely digital, way of actually engaging with your business to business relationships as well as consumers. Then the third point is to continue to drive loyalty, right? So we live in a world in which, right now, companies need to actually get closer and closer and closer to the consumers, So you need to actually drive the loyalty. You need to own that first party data. And we're talking with multiple customers, about the lack of ability to actually develop their own first party data and action, that first party data. And then on the fourth point in here is all about, meeting the customers where they are. So it's all about, it's very simple. So when we think about the customer journeys, the customers are actually deciding the way they want to engage with us. So we need to actually be able to effectively follow them around and put commerce, wherever they want to do. And it's the same thing, when we are thinking about the store and online. We need to actually go further and provide the ability to actually mix, the online and offline experience. So obviously Salesforce, has a set of products. Okay, so we have the platform called the Customer 360 platform, where we are actually linking everything into linking everything with our CRM. So we put the customer at the middle of everything that we do. And on top of it, what we do is we have a set of solutions to actually embark in multiple journeys. Because of this specific conversation with regards to B2C experiences, actually, I wanted to focus on how commerce, marketing, and service are working together in order to deliver that completely end-to-end customer experience. And when we think about, what has happened and think about, lockdown, for instance, in South Africa, there was a McKinsey study that actually said that the entire sector, retail, for instance, experienced 10 years of growth in just the first 90 days of the pandemic in South Africa. And when we think about, how this has actually changed those behaviors, actually for companies like yourselves, in that sense, the approach has always been very reactive, right? So the customer experience was actually moving forward, and because a customer was actually able to, we needed to actually reach out to the customers. Then there was some tactical decision and tactical budget, invested into a digital marketing capability. Same thing happened with commerce, right? So from the one day to the other, there was a need in order to have an e-commerce setup, sometimes accelerated through COVID, and then some investment was actually done into online. And all of this, what this creates is a complete lack of or is creating a lot of silos from a customer experience perspective. So the only thing that we try to do here at Salesforce is actually very simple, which is combining all of those silos into actually having all of that wisdom effectively that leveraging that data. So we don't want our customers to be lost into different transactions. We've always been there. We've sometimes called customer service and had to repeat over and over again our very same issue, just because companies doesn't understand where we are at that stage. So what we are trying to do is very simple. We try to put the customer at the middle. We leverage our customer-centric data model, and then what we do is we personalize the journeys end-to-end. And the journeys start, with marketing in a sense of we can actually segment customers. We can personalize the communications around customers. We can then move on, and leverage that personalization into commerce, and we can personalize the content, the products, We can leverage artificial intelligence to infuse in search, in the product recommendations, so that we drive those end-to-end experiences. And we move along into order management as well as customer service, where we also understand everything, that all of the interactions that a customer has done, all of the notifications that we've actually sent to the customer, as well as all of the products that they have actually sent. So with this regard, we provide this end-to-end, experience. And the way we do this is, as I was saying, leveraging, marketing capabilities, where we are actually leveraging that first-party data in order to action that data, put that data into action. It's not about holding that data only. It's about how do we put to use that data in order to create journeys, in order to engage in a different way for your consumers. So it's not about sending one newsletter per month. It's about how do we create meaningful journeys for your end consumers when you get closer to it, and do you develop that loyalty and that personalization, hyper-personalization that the customers demand. When we are actually thinking about commerce, the South Africa's online retail has actually doubled in the past 2 years, just because of obviously the pandemic and the existing growth that the commerce had into the region. And actually we leverage Commerce Cloud in here in order to power some of the best brands, in the world. And we do this obviously in a global scale. So you have more than 6,000 Commerce Cloud websites live as part of the platform, where we are present in 84 countries. And we leverage obviously a completely multi-tenant SaaS platform. All of our customers are in the same version of the platform, and we have a very good growth, as you can see in here. So customers like Cape Union Mart, for instance, or Standard Bank, they're leveraging our commerce capabilities, and you can see, in there into the slides some of the growth, from a revenue online perspective that our customers are seeing. And same thing happens from a Service Cloud perspective. It doesn't stop there. We don't see a customer service center as a cost center. We see them as a revenue center. So we need to be able to provide, to automate those experiences, being able to actually have things, like bots in order to do case deflection and self-service, in order to help our customer service agents to do more with less in that sense, right? And being able to provide the right level of detail and innovation to their end consumers. And this whole thing about, mixing marketing, commerce, and service is something that our customers do, and our customers do on a regular basis. I was telling you before about, Cape Union Mart or Standard Bank, but actually you can actually see this, across all their customers, when you think about Italtal, for instance, or you think about Jumia or iStore. But thinking about, more globally, you can see that Adidas, for instance, is personalizing that experience from marketing to commerce to service. Same thing is actually happening to Sonos in there, where they're actually leveraging marketing, commerce, and service in order to personalize those experiences, increase that loyalty, increase that conversion online and additional revenue. And same thing is actually happening through L'Oreal. L'Oreal more from a global presence, having more than 110 e-commerce websites across the multiple brands, when they're actually personalizing that experience for their end consumers. And then obviously that hyper personalization comes back to the company in a form of obviously revenue and loyalty, and increase satisfaction and NPS scores across everything that they do. So from this perspective, what I wanted to do is I wanted to take you, within the 15 minutes that I have left, I wanted to take you through a little bit of how does this look like in a real scenario. So if you can still see my screen, obviously what we will start in commerce, right? So the first thing that we do when we arrive to a commerce website, and it's linked to obviously my colleague Logan Hill that he was speaking previously about security, about compliance. We obviously have built, compliancy framework as well as a security framework as part of everything that we do, because trust is our number one value. So when customers are actually presenting with a tracking consent, it allows us to actually gather and get that sort of first-party data. And from that first-party data, what we can do is we can build those experiences in which we can hyper-personalize everything that we do. So once you're in the website, here we have a multi-country, multi-language, multi-currency website where you could have obviously all of the internationalization is out of the box. The search, all of the checkout capabilities are all out of the box and part of the social logins. You have the ability to actually obviously go drill down into all of the catalog capabilities and being able to actually purchase any sort of products that you want in that sense. You have the filters and facets, the sorting rules, as well as, the products itself. So everything that you would require, from an e-commerce standpoint. So the only thing that we need to do is, add obviously a specific site and add a product into the cart. Now, the product is added into the cart, but journeys are not seamless, okay? And the happy path is always the easier one. So when I say that journeys are not only seamless, is because most likely you're going to abandon the basket. You add some products, you abandon the basket. And here is where the beauty comes in together. Here's where we start bringing our products together. And that's where, I've added a product into the basket, but, we leverage the power of Marketing Cloud, which has obviously different sets of capabilities in order to bring the customer back and finish that checkout process. And the way we do that is we leverage a capability called Contact Builder and Journey Builder. So in Contact Builder, what we're going to do is commerce is going to provide all of the data and information to marketing in order for them to start leveraging that data and create those experiences. So you can see that across all of the data that we have here into marketing, we have data that has come from Commerce Cloud, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, in order for them to have a knowledge about the abandoned carts. And with that knowledge of abandoned carts, we are leveraging also Marketing Cloud in order to start creating journeys. And those journeys could be as simple as a newsletter, but it could be as complex as an abandoned cart integration, in which in this interaction, what it actually does is leverages the data that we have within Commerce Cloud, and then is actually having decisioning splits in terms of the basket size, so leveraging artificial intelligence in order to be able to optimize the sending time, for each and every one of the consumers, depending on their habits, in terms of actually opening emails or opening notifications from our consumers, so that we leverage artificial intelligence in every step of the way on commerce, on marketing, on service, to drive that hyper personalization and to get to know our customers better. And then, depending on the right time, we will actually send an email to the customer in order to provide them with more information, about the specific product. Now, these emails would actually also be powered by Marketing Cloud, right? So we leverage something called Email Studio within Marketing Cloud in order to send transactional emails to those customers. And in those transactional emails, as you can see here, you can put together, it's just drag and drop, obviously, that you can put together your emails in order to actually send those notifications to the customer, which are those transactional ability. So you can see how we are bringing commerce and marketing together in order to convince the customer to come back into the site and to continue with the purchase. So we are doing this obviously I'm just going to go in here and start my checkout. And what I was saying is that we are doing this obviously because increasing doing two things effectively. So we are actually increasing that sort of level of loyalty that we have with our customers, but also most importantly, we are actually bringing additional revenue for the companies in order to be able to continue, doing what they are doing, focusing on their business. And we will be providing obviously all of these capabilities to allow them to drive their consumers into that conversion. That is what we do. So now the role of commerce is done. We've placed an order thanks to Marketing Cloud and Commerce Cloud. The customer is a happy customer as such. We've received an email. So if I go now into my emails, you can actually see that there is an email that I've just received, and within this email that I've just received, again, it's another email coming from Marketing Cloud. In this time, it's a transactional email saying, that thank you for your purchase. And then from here, now that I've placed the order, we don't stop there, right? So I showed you already, as part of the slides, that it goes beyond, right? So this goes beyond marketing, beyond commerce, and goes into order management and customer service. So what we're going to do right now is, now that the order is placed and we can see now this order, we're going to go into our order management solution. So right now, what I'm going to show you is the back end of the Salesforce platform, where we actually have the different solutions. So we have here our customer service solution, we have here our B2B commerce solution, our marketing solution. Now I'm going to open up our order management. And our order management, where we are going to actually have the ability to understand everything that is happening from a customer perspective. I can actually see in real time all of the details about orders, right? So I have multiple orders, that I have seen here. I can see here into the platform. I can see that the order that I've just placed, the one ending in 301, has just been received in here in real time. I can see orders coming from multiple channels. It could be our own channels. It could be a marketplace, for instance. It could be an app. It could be whatever. And I can see how those orders are being effectively transacted and changing the statuses in real time. Now, what the order management will do is it will understand everything that is happening with the order. It would actually say, well, here are the details, here is the status. I can get an understanding about the current status by product, as well as, the payment side of the order. And what we are going to do from here is we are going to coordinate, the order management coordinates with the warehouse and the stores effectively for fulfillment and the ERP. And we will be receiving, obviously these are their environments, so I'm doing this manually, but we will be receiving in real time, the notifications on different statuses being changed. So,
Alejandro, I'm going to just interrupt you there. We just, in terms of time, we are running out. So I'm going to give you an extra couple of minutes or so, if that's okay.
I'm fine. Yeah. So what I was going to say, in here is anything that we are doing in here has its reciprocity, within Service Cloud. So what we can do is we can mix the entire experiences together. So what we can do is we can not only fulfill an order as such, but we also have that vision from a customer service standpoint where consumers could effectively engage with us, in that sense, and engage with bots, okay, like we have in here, in order to provide that end-to-end experience. So customers that would like to actually understand what is their current status of the order, we could actually engage, with a customer service bot, which can actually link into our consumers, where we will have the conversations, we will have recommended products in there, we will create cases from them, as well as effectively drive any sort of impersonate a customer basket, or actually cancel an order or do an order on behalf of the customer if that was actually necessary. So we cover the entire end-to-end spectrum, right? So from marketing to commerce to service, and that was basically it. So the last point on my side is just obviously thanking you all for your attention. If you need anything else about powering, how do we power these sort of experiences with Salesforce, just let us know and I'll be able to help you with that. And thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Alejandro, talking to us there about basically creating a seamless customer experience. And he did put his details there at the end of that slide presentation. So if you do want to reach out to him and you have any other questions or require any other information, if you missed that last slide, we are going to upload or at least send you all the slide presentations so you will be able to get those details. Alejandro, thank you so much for your time. He is the Commerce Account Executive for Emerging Markets at Salesforce.